Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to talk about something new, more of a philosophical idea rather than a political one. I wanted to talk about what it means to be good, what it means to be a good or bad person, and the distinctions between the two, and like what do you align with, what type of person are you? So in order to talk about good and bad, you need to understand 2 points: objective morality and subjective morality. Objective morality is something universally agreed upon that is bad. For example, rape. Everyone can agree, except for mentally ill rapists, that rape is a very, very bad thing and should be condemned and stopped at all costs. An example of subjective morality is ghosting somebody. So a lot of people in American society, ghost people that they simply don't want to talk to anymore, or people they're trying to move on from, stuff like that. A lot of people have mixed ideas on it, and some people think it's perfectly okay. Obviously they do if they ghost people themselves or they've been ghosted themselves. And a lot of people think that it's not okay and it's something that's actually kind of messed up. So that's an example of subjective morality. Not everyone can agree upon whether or not that's good or bad. Objective morality, everyone can agree on it's bad. So can you be a good person while having subjective morals? And I think the answer is yes. More often than not, it's more the thoughts behind it. Are you really trying to be a bad person? Is your intent to harm someone, or is your intent to help someone? Is your intent to put yourself first, or is your intent to put someone else down in order for you to succeed? I feel like that all comes into play, and defining a good person or a bad person is really, really difficult for that reason. The next thing I want to talk about when it comes to being good or bad in terms of society is the shopping cart theory. So if you don't know what the shopping cart theory is, basically it's you have the opportunity to return a shopping cart to its rightful place. Do you do it? No one is watching you. No one is going to care. There are no repercussions. There are no benefits. But do you still do it? And why? You can only help someone else. You cannot help yourself by doing this. So are you going to return the shopping cart to its place? And the idea behind that is that you cannot benefit yourself. You can only benefit someone else. So you are doing something good. You are doing an act of kindness, an act of small kindness that you will receive no benefit for. Are you going to do it? And so the idea behind that is, if you do it, and if people over a large society do it, then the overall society is good and they will work towards the general good of that society rather than selfless ideas. Are you a good person when no one else is watching? Do you clean up after yourself instead of letting the waiters and waitresses do it? Do you tip more than you're supposed to? Like, these are all things that are considered part of being the general good of society. And if the majority of society partakes in stuff like that, then the society seems to be progressing forward toward a better state. Another thing I want to talk about, it's completely actually separate, is something I like to call the hero complex or the Batman complex. So Batman, when he arrests someone like the Joker, Poison Ivy, or Mr. Penguin, for examples, he always sends them back to Arkham. And what do they do when they're in Arkham? They break out. And what does Batman do again? He arrests them and puts them back in Arkham. He's a hero, but he doesn't actually solve any problem because they're still doing whatever they need to. They can just break out and do it over and over again, and it creates an endless cycle. But Batman is still a hero, right? So that's what we call the hero complex. And this is something that's very important to American society. People in America love to be the hero. They love to sign the petitions. They love to attend rallies and protests and riots. They love to make new laws, ascertaining change. They love to be a hero. They love to call for change. They love to call for something radical and to help people in need. What Americans don't like to do is institutional help. Small changes over a large scale, over many years, many years, that actually solve problems in certain communities and areas. For example, foster care. right? Everybody loves to be a martyr and saint in foster care. They want to pick out a child, right, that they feel compatible with or they like a lot, and they pick them out and they feel like a hero. You're right. You're kind of saving that child's life if you are a solid household, if you're offering stability to that child, whether it be like a young child or a teenager, almost in adulthood and stuff. But that doesn't solve the institutional problem of foster care. It doesn't solve the lack of funding that they have. It doesn't solve certain principles that they have. It doesn't solve the fact that a lot of foster kids, once they get into a home, those homes are very, very bad and toxic, and they need to be relocated anyways, and it offers more and more instability. It doesn't solve any of that. And everybody loves to be a hero and ignore the big problems within, for example, foster care. The child needs stability, and so many children need stability in foster care. So that's just an example. There's another one, such as improving Black communities. A lot of people want to, I guess, save Black communities by just like giving reparations or money, but money where. Like, what exactly are you doing with this money? Are you actually helping the Black communities, or are you just throwing money around and not actually fixing the systems in place? Are you building better schools with that money? Are you building better roads? Are you building better retail shops? Are you, grocery shops? Are you giving more money to Black-owned businesses to like help the Black community, for example? That's institutional chronic help over a large scale of time that will overall improve the Black community, but people don't want to do that. People just want to say, stop racism and help the Black community. The Black community is in need. So those are the ideas I want to talk about, and you often see that a lot of people act on the idea of the individual, where everybody wants to be, again, this goes into the hero complex. Everybody wants to be the hero. Everybody wants to be the savior or the martyr for others and feel like the greatest thing ever, making an amazing change. But really, the biggest change works when you work with others to improve something for everyone. And I know that sounds like really, really communistic or some shit, but it's not a political thing, because you can't police being an asshole or being a good person because that infringes on freedom. You technically have the right to be an asshole, but it doesn't make you any less of an asshole for being an asshole. The whole point is that we as a society, in my opinion, need to come more collectively and work for the greater good, not because it helps us, but because it helps other people, and stop making everything about ourselves, because at the end of the day, it's not about ourselves. It's about the greater good of society and our culture. Do you want to be a good person, or do you want to be a selfless person? Are you doing this for yourself, or are you doing this to actually help others? And a lot of people confuse the two and blur the lines between the two. And so I just wanted to talk about it, give my thoughts on it. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to let me know, and have a good day. That's all.